Hey there, this is Red. It's time for another episode of Red Plays. So what we've got going on is Scarlet Witch. So I've got my Scarlet Witch hero pack out here. Got her sleeved up, and we're going to go with our run against basic Rhino just to see if we can figure out how Scarlet Witch works. So looking through the cards, I'm kind of wondering, like, I don't know that she's a high level hero. I kind of think she's maybe above average, but I don't know for sure. The things that I've been reading online, people really like her. So we'll see how she plays out for me. All right, so let's take a look at Scarlet Witch really fast. What we have here is we've got Wanda Maximoff. She's got her same thing as Quicksilver, which is the superpowered siblings, where you can discard two to draw two. Or if you get extremely lucky, you can have the ally out and discard two to draw three in solo play. All right. All right. Then on the other side, we've got Scarlet Witch. So two thwart, one attack, two defense. Also, we've got 10 hit points, which is really nice. And then we've got a hand size of 5. I think we're 6 on the other side. We've got Chaos Control, which is an interrupt when boost icons on an encounter card would be counted. Discard the top card of the encounter deck and count that number of boost icons on the card instead. Limit once per phase. So about everything she's got is going to make use of additional cards out of the encounter deck. So it'll be interesting to see how quickly we churn through that encounter deck. And we're making use of a lot of boost icons that are on those cards. Now, the other thing to note is there are 2 obligations that come with Scarlet Witch, and both of those are in the deck. And we're running Bomb Scare because it's just the standard Rhino stuff. So, but we've got 2 obligations in there, so that will be interesting also. Okay, so I think we're at a point where we are ready to go. We've got Rhino out there. We've got the break-in. Break-in's fairly standard, right? Rhino's attack and shield. We're gonna flip him over, and he looks all mad. And if he completes it, we lose, and it goes up to 7. 1 per round is what we're 1 per player per round, and 7 per player. And we're playing solo, so it's 1 and 7 because the math's real easy when it multiplied by 1. All right, Wanda Maximoff, starting hand size 6. We're gonna go slow because we've got new cards. So we're gonna have to look at the new cards as we get them out here. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's see what we've got. Hopefully I did a decent amount of shuffling. I'm playing with these Please Stand By sleeves, which are, I think they're Legion. Yeah, Legion is the one that makes it. The only thing that I don't like about them is they're white on the inside. That's not a horrible thing. I think I'd like them a little bit better if they were black on the inside, but you know, we can make white work. It's all right. I'm okay with that. Okay, so let's see what we've got coming out of the gate here. So we've got Quicksilver, which is, he's a 4-cost ally, and as an action, you can ready him once per phase. So that's your hero action, you can ready him. That's cool. Well, it's not a hero action, it's an action. So it's not a free thing. Multitasking. It says hero action, thwart, remove 2 threat from a scheme. If you paid for this card using a mental resource, remove 2 threat from a different scheme. Not gonna do me a lot of good with Rhino right now. Swift Retribution. This is a problem with playing a Justice deck at the beginning of the game. So we have the villain schemes, deal 4 damage to the villain. Now that might not be bad, but it's a little bit scary solo with Rhino. And we've got a strength. You should all know what strength is by this point in time. 2 resources. We've got a molecular decay. So hero action, deal 5 damage to an enemy, discard the top 2 cards in the counter deck. For each boost icon, deal 1 additional damage to the enemy. So that looks kind of tasty. And we also have, what's this one? This one is Turn the Tide, which is pretty popular. Actually, people have been buying a lot of these for me from some of the Scarlet Witch packs that I opened up. After your hero thwarts and removes all threat from a scheme, deal 3 damage to an enemy. Ooh, so that could be a nice one to keep around for next turn. I think we'll hold on to that one. We're going to hold on to Quicksilver and Molecular Decay because I don't know which way we're going to go, and we're going to get rid of these 2 cards. We'll draw 2 more and see what we get. There's our mulligan. Ooh, we got a Hex Bolt and a Crisis Averted. Okay, so Crisis Averted says hero action thwart, remove 6 threat from the main scheme. Okay, so that's not going to do me any good probably this game. Maybe it might, but if I get up to 6 scheme, I'm in a pretty bad place. And then I guess the Crisis Averted will be really nice. Then we have Hex Bolt, which looks really cool. So Hex Bolt. Discard the top 3 cards in the encounter deck. For each card discarded this way that has boost icons equal to 0, deal 2 damage to an enemy. 1, remove 2 threat from a scheme. 2, draw a card. 3, place a status card on a character. Ooh, that looks like fun. All right, so the cards that I've got, that looks like the most fun. I think I want to play that this turn. I also have this molecular decay. See, I could get Quicksilver out there, but there's cards that are Wanda Maximoff cards that I can play that do her things. So I think I'm going to do that just because I want to see how they work. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to flip on over to Scarlet Witch. So we're Scarlet Witching right now. All right. Let's go ahead. Why don't we start with our Hex Bolt, because that might actually get us more cards. So I think we're going to start off with that. So we're going to use our strength here to play Hex Bolt. Let's reread Hex Bolt. Hex Bolt says discard the top 3 cards of the encounter deck for each card discarded this way that has boost icons equal to blah, 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 blah. All right. So let's figure out what the blah, 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 blah equals to. All right. So we need 3 cards off the encounter deck. So 1, 2, 3. All right, let's see what we've got. Now let's put this back here. And all right, so encounter card number 1 has no boost icons. So what that means is deal 2 damage to an enemy. All right, so we've got a deal 2 damage to an enemy. We have a 2 boost icons on a, what is that one? That one's a, what do we get rid of? We got a hard to keep down. We've got a charge, which is draw a card. Oh, see, that's gonna kind of work out the way that I want. And our last one is 3 boost icons, which is place a status card on a character. So I think I'm okay with that. Now I could kick in and use Wanda's ability to manipulate one of those, but the thing that I didn't get was the remove 2 threat from a scheme, which is good because that would have been useless to me. But all 3 of these I can use. So deal 2 damage to an enemy, draw a card, and put a status card on a character. So we're going to do all of those things. We're going to do all these things. So we're going to deal 2 damage to an enemy. So we're going to take 2 off a Rhino. We're going to draw a card. Oh, which is another Turn the Tide. And then we're going to place a status card on a character. So I think I'm going to stun him. Well, let's find a stun. I've got a stun somewhere. Oh, they're over here. Here's a stun. All right. We can put a stun on Rhino, and that should ideally keep him from attacking us. All right. Now, I could hold on to both of those. No. I think we're going to play this molecular decay because we're just having so much fun doing damage. We're going to go ahead and do molecular, or I could get Quicksilver out. That would be an interesting play because now that I've got 4, but I've got to turn the tide, and I'm doing aggression kind of things with a Justice deck. Oh, that's a tough call. I think we will, let's get, no, yes, no, yeah, we're going to get Quicksilver out. All right, so we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll bring, no, I can't do that. I can't do that. We're going to have to do the molecular decay. So we're going to do 1, 2, 3. We're going to hold on to a Turn the Tide. We're going to do the molecular decay. All right, so molecular decay. I can't say it now because I've said it so many times. Molecular decay is now going to deal 5 damage to an enemy, and I discard the top 2 cards of the encounter deck. For each boost icon discarded this way, deal 1 additional damage to the enemy. So we're going to grab 2 cards out, and I'm going to get 2 boost icons and 3 boost icons. So I'm going to do 8 damage. Wow. This is not an aggression deck. 8 damage. All right. So he's down to 4. All right. And I guess we might as well attack because we don't really have anything better to do for another one. All right. And I think we're done. So we're holding on to our Turn the Tide. So I'm looking at my first round with Scarlet Witch. I managed to do 11 points of damage and stun the enemy. That's pretty impressive, I think. So that's kind of a nice first turn. All right, so we're going to be done. We're going to ready up. We're going to draw back up to our hand size of 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have some cards here. We've got a Warp Reality, another new card. So here up when an encounter card is revealed from the encounter deck, Cancel all of its effects and discard it. Discard cards from the top of the encounter deck equal to the number of boost icons on that card. All right. And then, oh, we've got Scarlet Witch's Crest, which says when boost icons on the encounter card are counted, exhaust Scarlet Witch's Crest, increase or decrease the number of boost icons on that card by 1 for this count. Nice. All right. All right, cool stuff. And then these two heroic intuitions, they've been around for a long time. They boost me by 1 thwart, but apparently we're not really thwarting here. We're just doing lots of damage with the Justice deck. Okay, so we're done. We're gonna go over the villain's turn. So first thing is we're gonna put 1 threat on the main scheme. And next part of the villain phase is Rhino's gonna look and see Scarlet Witch, but he's stunned. He would normally attack her, but he's stunned, so there's no attack happens. And then we're gonna draw an encounter card. The encounter card is Caught Off Guard. Discard an upgrade or support you control. If no cards were discarded this way, this card gains Surge. Now I could use my Warp Reality on that. If I did that, 1 encounter card is revealed from the encounter deck, cancel all of its effects, and discard it. Discard cards from the top of the encounter deck equal to the number of boost icons on that card, which is 1. So I think I'm going to go ahead and do that. We're going to use a heroic intuition to play our Warp Reality, because we're just going to make him have a no turn this turn. That's going to say we're going to cancel all of its effects and discard it. Discard cards from the top of the encounter deck equal to the number of boost icons on the card. So there's 1 boost icon on the card. All right, so 1 card is going to go away. And what are we kicking out here? It's tough. Okay. All right, so that's the end of the villain's turn. He didn't do a whole lot. All right, so we're back over to the hero turn. Now I'm a little bit trying to figure out what it is I want to do here, because I can turn the tide. I can thwart to remove that and then play turn the tide for free, but then I can't play my crest. And I would have heroic intuition would kind of be sitting. Or I could get my Scarlet Witch's Crest out, which would let me manipulate things. I think I'm going to go ahead and do Turn the Tide. And let's go ahead and do that. So we're going to thwart with Scarlet Witch. So she's going to take 2 off of the break-in. So I'm going to play this as a response. It says after your hero thwarts and removes all threat from a scheme, deal 3 damage to an enemy. So we're going to deal 3 damage to... Wait, do we want to do that? Because when we do that... Oh, I need to go... Well, let's go back on that one a little bit. All right. So the problem is going to be when I do that, breaking and taking is going to come out, which means I'm going to get 2 cards. So I don't want to be too premature with that. Yeah, I think we will hold off on that, because I think that's a bad idea to get breaking and taken out at a point where I can't also get it off the board. So we're going to get Scarlet Witch's Crest out, which is going to let me manipulate and counter card boost icons. So, okay. With that, we'll go ahead and we're going to attack Rhino and knock him down to 2. I'm not too concerned about the 1 threat on there, and then we're going to be finished. All right. We're going to take that off of there. We're going to draw 5 cards. So we get Genius, Speed, Spiritual Meditation, Crisis Averted, and Magic Shield. So new cards. What do we got here? We got Speed. Speed is an ally. So after he thwarts, I can ready him. So 4 cost, 2 thwart, 1 attack. I don't know that he's awesome in this deck. He might be really good in other Justice decks. Not sure about this one. Spiritual Meditation. Play if I'm a Mystic Witch. Scarlet Witch is an Avenger Mystic on this side, and she's a Mystic on the Wanda Maximoff side. So she's Mystic on both sides. Draw 2 cards, and then I get to discard a card from my hand. So it's going to cost me 2 cards. I'm going to have to play a Spiritual Meditation. But I get to draw 2 and then discard 1, which could potentially be this Crisis Averted. I also have a Magic Shield here. The Magic Shield says when a friendly character would take any amount of damage, discard Magic Shield, prevent 3 of that damage. All right, so that's the end of my turn. We're We're going to go villain turn. So we're going to take a little bit of damage this turn probably. So first thing, we're going over the villain phase. And we've got, he's going to go up to 2 on the main scheme. So we put 1 threat on the main scheme. Then Rhino is going to attack Scarlet Witch. He's coming at me for 2. I'm not going to block because I still have my full 10 health. I think we're going to go ahead and take this one. So he's attacking for 2. We're going to get a boost of 2 more. So we're going to take 4. Now I could manipulate that. I could get a different card, but I think we're okay with that. We will go ahead and take the 4. So I'm going to take 4. And then we're going to draw an encounter card. All right, encounter card says, survey says, I could have decreased it by 1. That's, actually, let's do that. We're going to use our crest to decrease that by 1, so we only take 3. All right, so I don't know that I've got another time to use it. Yeah, maybe that's a mistake, but we're going to try to use it there. All right, so our next one is, boom, a Hydra Mercenary. Oh, he's going to come out and he's got guard. All right, somebody more to get through. All right, so that's the end of the villain's turn. We're over to the hero's turn. What are we doing on the hero side here? So, I think we'll start off with this spiritual meditation. Spiritual meditation says, draw 2 cards, and then I'm going to choose and discard 1 card from my hand. So we're going to drop that. We're going to draw 2 cards. We're going to get a energy, and we're going to get a chaos magic. The chaos magic says, play a card from your hand ignoring the resource cost. Discard cards from the top of the encounter deck equal to that card's printed resource cost. Okay, I'm going to discard a card. So I guess I'm going to get rid of Crisis Averted. This is going to be kind of silly, actually, because the chaos magic really doesn't do me a whole lot of good at this point. All right, so what we're going to do, we're going to spend, well, I could get speed out for free, but it's going to cost me cards. I think we won't worry about that. I think we're going to go 2-4. We're going to put speed into play. And then we're going to we're going to just use our chaos magic, or should I hold on to it? Oh, I think we're going to cast it. We're going to go ahead and use chaos magic to put our magic shield out there. We're going to use it as a resource. We're going to put our magic shield out, which says when a friendly character will take any amount of damage, discard magic shield, prevent 3 of that damage. Okay. So next thing we're going to do, we're going to have speed thwart. So speed's going to thwart for 2. Take 2 off the main scheme. And then he's going to take a consequential damage from that. All right. And then I get to ready him as a response. And then we're going to exhaust him to hit the Hydra Mercenary for 1. All right. Then we will attack with Scarlet Witch for 1, and he's down to 2. Or he's taken 2, so that means he's down to 1 health left. Okay, so the next question is, do I stay Scarlet Witch, or, oh, speed should be at 2 consequential damage, because he thwarted and then he attacked. Do I stay as Scarlet Witch, or do I go over to Wanda Maximoff and get an additional card and potentially tweak my hand a little bit? We've got no threat on the main scheme. I think that might be the way to go, but then we get a lot of threat on the main scheme. Right now we're looking at, we can potentially soak a Rhino attack with Scarlet Witch and our magic shield. The mercenary is going to do 1. That's not too bad. Yeah, I think we'll go ahead and we'll stay Scarlet Witch this round. All right, so we're going to draw 5. We're going to ready up. I'm going to draw 5 cards. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, so we got a molecular decay, which we've seen already. We've got a magic shield, which we've got 1 in play, because it's an upgrade. Swift retribution, which we discarded early on, but could come into play. It's going to make the villain scheme and deal 4 damage to the villain. And we've got our Hex Bolt. which is damage, threat, draw, status card. Now this could be really nice also because it's just damage, it's not an attack, so that could go right past the Hydra Mercenary. Could be interesting. All right, so we've got 5 cards here. Let's do the villain. So villain turn, we've got 1 threat on the main scheme. Rhino is going to see Scarlet Witch out there, and we're just going to let this through. So he's coming with 2. We're going to draw a card, and so he's doing 3, which is okay, because we're going to take that 3, and we're going to use our magic shield. Our magic shield is going to prevent 3 of the damage. So there we go. We didn't take any damage from Rhino. All right, then the Hydra Mercenary is going to attack. We'll go ahead and take that 1 damage from the Hydra Mercenary. Okay, that worked out all right. I'm saving my my Scarlet Witch crest there. Wouldn't have made a difference at that point, but I'm kind of saving it because I've got this Hex Bolt coming up, and I may need to manipulate things with the Hex Bolt. All right, so we're going to draw an encounter card. Encounter card is False Alarm. When revealed, you are confused. Okay, so I'm going to get confused. And I have one of those right here. All right. Scarlet Witch is confused. No thwarting for her. That's the end of the villain's turn. We're over to the hero turn. So I think we start off with our spiritual meditation. So I'm going to discard that. I'm going to draw 2. 1, 2. Ooh, Wiccan. I'm going to have to discard one of these. So what's going to get discarded? So we've got Wiccan's a new card. Wiccan is, after Wiccan thwarts, discard the top card of the encounter deck. For each boost icon discarded this way, deal 1 damage to an enemy. Oh, I like him. I am very much into potentially playing Wiccan. Let's see here. We need to get rid of 1 card. So we probably won't play 2 magic shields. Oh, it would be nice to have 1 more resource, but I could get 1 from the Hex Bolt when I play the Hex Bolt. All right, so we're going to get rid of 1 of the magic shields. And next thing we're going to do is, I think, let's see, I'm confused. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and attack for 1 first. So we're attacking for 1. That's going to take out the Hydra Mercenary. All right. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to fire off this Hex Bolt. And I'm not going to be able to use the molecular decay no matter what happens. So we're going to go ahead and fire off our Hex Bolt. All right, so Hex Bolt says we're going to discard the top 3 cards of the encounter deck. For each card discarded this way, that has a boost icon equal to, this is the yada 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 stuff. All right, so we're going to get 3 cards. Oops, let's get that out of there. All right, so 3 cards. 1, 2, 3. All right. Now, we've got our Hex Bolt. We've got card number 1. Got 1 icon on it. Card number 2 has 0 icons and it's advance. I'd like to get that out of there. And card number 3 has 1 icon on it. Now, I would kind of like to, so with 1 icon, I get to remove 2 threat from a scheme. So having 2 1 icons doesn't do me any good. But the draw a card would let me potentially get Wiccan out there. So I think what I'm going to do is we're going to use Wanda's Crest to bump one of those 1s up to a 2. So we're going to do a draw card, we're going to do a deal 2 damage to an enemy, and we're going to do a remove 2 threat from a scheme. All right. So first thing we're going to do is we are going to remove 2 threat from a scheme. We're going to take it off of the break-in. And we're going to draw a card. And we're going to deal 2 damage to an enemy. Oh, that was a nice draw card. So 2 damage to an enemy is going to take Rhino out. All right, so Rhino goes out. We have Rhino 2 come into play. When Rhino 2 comes into play, we have when revealed, search the encounter deck and discard pile for breaking and taken. and then shuffle the encounter deck. So we're going to go looking for breaking and taken, and I don't remember if I saw it yet or not. So let's see if we've got a breaking and taken. Advance, Nippede, false alarm, horn, crowd control. Nope. Get one more card out of the encounter deck. Bomb scare, breaking and taken. There it is. Breaking and taken is going to come out, and I want to get that out of there. That's going to come into play with 3 threat on it. All right. Let's drop that out there. I'm going to put 3 threat on there. 2, 3. Ooh. Can't remember if at the beginning of there. At the beginning of that, I think I thwarted with Scarlet Witch. Didn't I? Which doesn't work because... No, I didn't thwart. I used the remove 2 threat. Okay. I attacked to get him down to 2, I believe. I hope I got that right because I was confused. So I can't thwart with her right now. Okay, so we've got 15 hit points on Rhino. Let's get that out there. 10. Let's do a couple of 2s and a 1. 2, 2, 1. 2, 2, 1. There we go. Back up to 15. All right, now, yeah, we're kind of in the middle of our turn here. So next up, we have, let's bring Wiccan into play. We can use Power of Justice to bring Wiccan into play. All right, so we're going to bring Wiccan in. All right, this is going to be kind of fun because what we can do is we can have speed. He's going to activate and he's going to thwart for 2, which is going to end up giving him another. So that's going to happen. And then I can ready him. And then I'm going to use Wiccan. And he's going to end up with 1 consequential damage after he does his thing. But the thing that he's going to do is he's going to thwart for 1. That's going to take out the breaking and taken. And then after Wiccan thwarts, discard the top card of the encounter deck. For each boost icon discarded in this way, deal 1 damage to an enemy. So we're going to discard the top card of the encounter deck. We have 0 boost icons. I think we're going to use Scarlet Witch's power to interrupt when boost icons from an encounter card would be counted. Discard the top card of the encounter deck and count the number of boost icons on that card instead. Limit once per phase. And we're kind of at the end of this phase, so we're going to go ahead and do it. Oh, that's another 0, but it's an advance, so I'm happy to get that out of there. So that works out. All right. Okay, so that's the end of that. Everybody's gone. I could have Speed do something else. Well, he could attack for 1, but I think I would rather save him as a blocker at this point in time. I can't get my magic shield out. Question would be, should I go back to... No, if I'm going to have Speed block, I think I will go ahead and stay Scarlet Witch. We'll hold on to our magic shield. So we're just going to ready up and be done. So dun, dun, dun. We're readying up. We're drawing back up to 5 cards. We're still confused. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, we got another Hex Bolt. Awesome. Got another Molecular Decay. We've got Agatha Harkness. There's a new card. Exhaust Agatha Harkness. Look at the top 3 cards of your deck. Add 1 of those to your hand and place the rest on the bottom of your deck in any order. Don't let your anger get the best of you, Wanda. So that is a nice card because that's kind of like an Avengers Mansion. Well, you have to be alter ego, but then you're going to get 3 cards, or you're going to get 1 card. You get to filter through 3 cards for the 1 card that you want and put the other 2 on the bottom. So that's like a better than Avengers Mansion. For a cost of 1, that's a great card. All right, so that's the end of our turn. We're going to go over to the villain's turn. So first thing is we're going to put a threat on that main scheme. Rhino's going to see Scarlet Witch out there, but Speed's going to step in front of this one. So he's attacking for 3. He's going to get a boost. He's going to get boosted 3. Holy cow, so I'm glad that Speed stepped in front of that one. So he's going to take 6. Speed's out for now. All right, he got run over by Rhino. All right, next we're going to draw a card for our encounter card. And we have a Shockers coming out. When revealed, deal 1 damage to each hero. All right, so I'll take 1. So we're probably going to do a little bit of downtime after this one. All right, but that's the end of the villain's turn. We're over to the hero turn. Now, we've got a molecular decay out there, which could do damage. But we'd have to pay 3 to get that out there. The Hex Bolt is going to cost us 2. And we could get a bunch of cards depending upon how things go. We also have Wiccan out there who can potentially do some damage by thwarting off the top of that. Some interesting choices there. Or I can get Agatha out there and work on building myself a hand for next turn. I think we're going to go ahead and do our Hex Bolt first. So let's fire off our Hex Bolt. It's going to cost us 2 to do a Hex Bolt, which we've been having a lot of fun with this so far. So discard the top 3 cards of the encounter deck. We're going to get some icons. So let's see what we get. We're going to do 3. Wow, we're going through that encounter deck pretty quick. All right. 1 icon, so that's threat from a scheme, another 1 icon, and 2 icons. So we've got to draw a card, and then 2 1 icons, which are remove 1 threat from a scheme, which I really don't want to do. Let's see here. So I can modify one of those up 1. I can use Scarlet Witch's power. I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to use Scarlet Witch's power that says when boost icons from an encounter card would be counted, discard the top card of the encounter deck and count the number of boost icons on that card instead. So we're going to use that, and we're going to get rid of one of these cards. I'm going to flip another one out there. Boom! Oh, we got another 1 icon. Damn it! That's not how that was supposed to work. All right, so where does that leave us at? We've got 2, remove 2 threats from a scheme, and 1 draw card. So let's do this. We're going to use Scarlet Witch's crest, which is over here underneath all my other stuff, which says that I can increase or decrease by 1. So we're going to use Scarlet Witch's crest. We're going to use that ability. We're going to bump one of our 1s up to a 2. So we get 2 2s and a 1. So we're going to remove 2 threat from a scheme, and we're going to draw 2 cards. All right, so we're going to remove 2 threat from a scheme. I'm going to draw 2 cards. 1 2. Okay. So now we can pull off a molecular decay. Let's go ahead and do that. Oh, see, I could get Agatha Harkness out there. Could work on that, building myself a nice set of stuff. What are we looking at? We'd be looking at 1 2 3 minimum scheme. This is an interrupt when boost icons from a counter card are counted. Exhaust 1 as crest, increase or decrease it by 1. So I could use 1 as crest to potentially mitigate additional scheme boost icons, which is an interesting thing. Oh, so do I do the, what I really want to do is a molecular decay, because that does a bunch of damage. So that's what I feel like I want to do. But it seems to me like the smarter play would be to get Agatha Harkness out there and do some deck manipulation, flip down to Wanda and do some deck manipulation. Oh, let's get that Hex Bolt out of there. Sorry, that's been taking up the whole screen. All right. And our decks here are going pretty quick. Oh, so is it Agatha Harkness or the molecular decay? If I get Agatha Harkness out there, I can potentially hold on to multitasking maybe. Or I could hold on to the Crisis Averted, and I would probably be able to take out about everything that ends up on the table. Oh, man. Which to go with? I really want to do the molecular decay. 5 damage to an enemy. For each boost, deal 1 additional damage to that enemy. Okay, so I would have to do that damage to, well, I didn't have to do it to Rhino, but I probably should do it to Rhino. Actually, I kind of need to flip down because I would be looking at a lot of damage potentially coming in if I don't flip down. I think we're going to do it. We're going to do the molecular decay. We're going to go aggressive. We're going to throw a molecular decay out there. So molecular decay is going to do 5 damage. I'm going to discard 2 cards from the top of the encounter deck and deal 1 additional damage for each boost icon. All right. Counter card and counter card. So we're looking at 2 more. So we're doing a total of 7 damage to Rhino. All right. So we're going to knock him down 5 there. We're going to take one of these 2s away. Used up all of our cards there. We haven't done anything with Wiccan yet. Let's go ahead and have Wiccan attack for 1. Ping Rhino down a little bit there. Then we're going to be finished. Oh, we're going to flip over to Wanda Maximoff. Then we're going to be finished. So we're going to grab our tokens. This thing's ready up, and we're going to draw 6 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 cards. So we got a Hex Bolt. Ooh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think we've seen all these things. We've got an Order in Chaos, which is a new card, but that's Quicksilver's out. I can, when a treachery card is revealed from the encounter deck, cancel its when revealed effect and deal 2 damage to the enemy. So not going to do me any good this round, but it's out there. All right, my deck's exhausted, so we need an acceleration token. Or no, I'm doing that wrong. We need an encounter card. Additional encounter card. And we get a shuffle up. That could be bad. We'll see what happens there. I think I saw both advances go by, so hopefully he doesn't do super schemy stuff on his turn. We do have our crest, which is not a hero interrupt, it's just an interrupt, which is pretty dang cool. And actually, we're getting our damage cards, back into our deck. And we've got a spiritual meditation to help us filter a little bit. We could use Wanda's power to discard 2 cards and draw some cards. So we may be able to pull that 7 damage off this next round. It's looking kind of likely. We got to get through this round with all the scheming going on and a couple of encounter cards and see how that works out. All right, let's make this happen. We got our 6 cards. We're confused. We got our boost card out there. We're ready to go to the villain's turn. So villain's turn. First thing we're going to do, we're going to put 1 threat on the main scheme. Rhino is going to look at Wanda out there. So he's going to scheme this round. He's going to scheme for 1. He's going to get a boost of 0. I like that. All right. So he's going to scheme for 1. So we're going to go up to 2, but Shocker is going to scheme also. So we're going to go up to 3. All right. Now we have a counter card and an encounter card. All right. So encounter card number 1 is Shadows of the Past. Is there anything there's nothing I can do about that. Okay, so that's going to suck. So my set aside Nemesis minion and put it into play, engaged with you, shuffle the rest of your set aside Nemesis encounter, blah, 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 blah. So our Nemesis and the Nemesis encounter is going to come into play. All right, so I guess we get to see this. Great. All right. I'm going to shuffle these 2 cards into the deck here. And let's see what we get. All right, so we get Luminous, who says, forced response. After Luminous activates against you, discard the top 2 cards of the encounter deck. If 2 or more boost icons were discarded this way, deal yourself 1 encounter card. He's got 5 health, 2 scheme, 2 attack. Wow. And then we have the next evolution. Increase the number of boost icons on each encounter card by 1. All right. Well, the downside to that was I was hoping to get some 0s with my Hex Bolt. So that's a little bit unfortunate. All right. We're going to draw our second encounter card, which is Hydra Bomber. When revealed, choose to either take 2 damage or place 1 threat on the main scheme. I think we're going to go ahead and put 1 threat on the main scheme, so it's up to 4. All right. I don't have anybody with guard, so that's good. And we are done on the villain side. All right, so our goal is 7 damage. We've got a thwart that can turn into damage. We don't have anybody with guard. We've got Wanda over here that can... Ooh, I can do a swift retribution potentially. Make the villain scheme and he would take 4 damage. That might get me where I need to go. I think the first thing we're going to start off with is a spiritual meditation. So we're going to play this, draw 2 cards. We're going to have to discard a card. So we're going to get 1, 2. And we have a crisis averted and the power of justice. So I think we're going to go ahead to get rid of the crisis averted. I think so. Doesn't really help us with anything. All right, we're going to use Wanda Maximoff's power that says discard 2 cards from your hand, draw 2 cards. We're going to get rid of Order and Chaos, and we're going to get rid of the Power of Justice. That's going to get us 2 cards. So 1, 2. Got a Magic Shield and a Turn the Tide. Oh man, if I could only thwart twice, I could do some fun things, but gonna have a little bit of a problem there. All threat from a scheme. Oh, so multitasking is, so I could play multitasking. Oh, I think I've got him. Multitasking would, yes, it's going to count as a thwart action. Problem is I've got this confused here. And the question would be, can I turn the tide twice or not? That I don't know. Can I play that as a, oh no, that's a question. So can I have these 2 responses? After your hero thwarts and removes all threat from a scheme, deal 3 damage to an enemy. So if I do that, can I do it twice? I don't know. But we'll see. Let's see how this works out here. All right. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to flip over to Scarlet Witch. As Scarlet Witch, we're going to try to thwart and get rid of our confused. All right. The next thing we're going to do is... do we do the Swift Retribution or the Hex Bolt? We're going to go ahead and use our Hex Bolt to pay for multitasking. So multitasking is hero action thwart. Remove 2 threat from a scheme. If you paid for this card using a mental resource, remove 2 threat from a different scheme, which the Hex Bolt is a mental. So I'm going to take 2 off of 2 different schemes. I'm going to take 2 off of the next evolutionary. I'm going to take 2 off of the break-in because I don't have my confused anymore. When I do that, I can say, boom, turn the tide after your hero thwarts and removes all the threat from a scheme, deal 3 damage to an enemy. So we're going to do 3 damage to Rhino. All right, so it's going to knock him down to 4. He's down to 4. All right, so next up is we're going to go ahead and we're going to play Swift Retribution. So Swift Retribution says, hero attack the villain's schemes, deal 4 damage to the villain. All right, so Rhino's going to scheme. He's scheming for 1. He's going to get a boost of none. So he schemes for 1. That takes it back up to 3. And Swift Retribution does 4 damage to the villain, which takes Rhino out. Boom! All right, yes, we got the win. little bit complicated there, a little bit of back and forth. So the interesting thing was, so let's talk about some of these cards here. Wow, Scarlet Witch is really weird to play. I think I could have gotten the win without doing some of the weird stuff going on there. But so when I initially went through Scarlet Witch, I didn't really like that card a lot because that seems kind of scary to have the villain scheme, and I did not think I would ever play that in a Rhino game. And it's the card that won me this game, I think. So very happy with that. Turn the Tide is an amazing card. Thwart, remove all damage from a scheme, after you remove all threat from a scheme, deal 3 damage to an enemy. So it's not only the main scheme, it's the side schemes. That's pretty cool. I like that. Hex Bolt has been a lot of fun. I do like the Hex Bolt. I do like that Spiritual Meditation can be played both alter ego and hero side. That's pretty awesome. Molecular Decay. I did a lot of damage with Molecular Decay. Wow, I'm fairly impressed with this deck. The only thing I'm really sad about is I think this card is super awesome, Chaos Magic, but I drew it at the same time that I got 2 double resources, so it really wasn't the right card at the right time. And I really would have liked to play, I could have gone back and probably done that round where I played Agatha Harkness, but it worked out so that, I did actually win in the end without playing her. So I'm pretty happy with that. Luminous scares the crap out of me. So 5 health, 2 scheme, 2 attack. After she activates, discard the top card of the encounter deck. If 2 or more boost icons, deal yourself 1 counter card. Yuck! She is disgusting. The good news is I didn't have to worry about her because I was able to take Rhino out right before she was actually able to do anything. Like, there was alarm bells and emergency stuff going off there, so that worked out pretty well. But that is a horrible nemesis. All right, so we handled Rhino on standard, and this is the pre-constructed Scarlet Witch deck. So there's nothing fancy here. I took it out of the box, I put it in sleeves, and that's what I'm playing with, which is why I've got 2 Heroic Intuitions in here, which I probably would not have in this deck, and I would probably not have the Crisis Averted in here if I go back and were to rebuild this deck. But I want to play with the Precon deck just to see how that works out and how all those cards work. So pretty happy with that. We took out Rhino Standard. I think next up we'll move on up to Rhino Expert and see if we can handle him with the Scarlet Witch Precon deck. She's got a lot of attack power in this deck. For a Justice deck, I don't know that you need to really give her aggression because she's pretty aggressive just by herself without the other stuff going on. But it is interesting. That is one thing I will note. So the Hex Bolt is a very powerful card I'm finding. But the thing to think about with that card is the 2 damage, which is really nice, goes away when that Nemesis card comes out, which I was kind of counting on to use in order to, I was hoping to use that in order to affect, I was hoping to Hex Bolt to take out Rhino, and this took me out of the ability to do, get zeros to do, well, it didn't take me out, I could use my crown to reduce it, but I couldn't get as many zeros with that in play. So that's kind of an interesting mix of effects going on there. Also, as you play tougher villains, you're going to have more 2 and 3 boost icons in there, which means that Hex Bolt is more often going to do the draw card and do statuses, which I do like the do statuses stuff. So Hex Bolt is a very interesting card. Looking forward to more plays with that. It's the chaos magic thing. She's a little bit chaotic, and I'm liking that. So I don't know that I felt extremely powerful in that game. I felt good about that game, but I don't feel like I was overpowering. So I think Rhino Expert's going to put up a decent amount of challenge. We'll see how that goes. I do think in a game where there's going to be more thwarting involved, she's going to do good. She definitely has the power. She has the aggression, like right out of the box, I think. So I don't know that you would pair her. I think if you put aggression with her, she's just going to be a beast for attack wise. I think she needs one of the other aspects in order to enhance the other side of her to allow her to get rid of more threat. I don't know. Impressed thus far is what I gotta say. So let me know if I missed anything in my playthrough there. Fan of Scarlet Witch so far. So that's it for now. Tune in for Expert Rhino next, and thanks for watching.